Hey everyone, it's Carter King. If you're an educator, a leader, or just a parent who wants to teach kids about space, check out my newest book, Carter's Journey Through Space. It's available now on Amazon, Target, and bookstores everywhere. Come explore the universe with me.
Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create environments where people thrive. Through real conversations, practical strategies, and powerful stories, we equip leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself to build cultures rooted in purpose, performance, and authenticity. Because culture isn't something you talk about, it's something you live. This is the Contagious Culture Podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create an ecosystem and environment where people thrive. Look, today, man, I have my guy on here today, and he's not just leading nonprofits and foundations, bring clarity to fund management, donor reporting, and stewardship. This man is a former rapper. This man is a father of 6. He is just an amazing human being that speaks with honesty, brings so much energy to every single room that he walks into, that he steps into, whether in person or virtually. And he just has a gift about himself to be able to lead with heart and give just openly and freely. My man, Brad, how you feeling, my brother?
Man, thank you for that. That makes a guy feel good. I'm doing great, and I could echo those exact same things about you. The energy is infectious, and I'm honored, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, I appreciate you. I know we were behind the scenes talking about all things sports. You know, what in the introduction do you love for people to mention that maybe they don't miss, but maybe they potentially just don't know or shy away from introducing you as?
Yeah, I love the leading with heart. I'm big at this point in life on just being me and being vulnerable, and like I don't have time for beating around the bush or not. I
Yes.
mean, that doesn't mean we're not kind and thoughtful, and you know what I mean, but like say what you came to say.
Yeah.
And just understand we're all imperfect and trying to figure life out, you know?
I love that.
Uh, Plus the retired rapper stuff's pretty cool, you
No,
know?
it really is.
Makes me feel old, but it's still cool.
You've lived a lot of lives, my man. Like, can we talk? Can we talk about from rapper to nonprofit to dad, like all of these different things? Can you walk me through as quickly as possible, like that journey? What were some of the major moments that led to the life that you're living now?
Yeah, I will give you the very Cliff Notes version. So and I'll start with college, but I'll make it quick. So I went to Indiana University because
Oh,
I saw the movie Jerry Maguire, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna be, you know, and they had a sports marketing and management program.
that's fair.
So I did that down in Bloomington, somehow graduated, and
Yes.
actually got an internship with the Chicago Bulls out of college. And I will tell you, so like my firstborn, his name is Jordan. I have a Michael Jordan tattoo. Okay.
Oh
Like
my
to,
God.
to say that like that was the mecca for me.
I
Now
love
I was an intern living in a studio apartment the size of my closet now. But that was my introduction into cold calling, into like real hardcore conversations. And that was a pretty cool environment.
it. Yeah.
And I actually got a full-time job after that with the Indiana Pacers, and it was everything I didn't want. And sports is kind of like that, man. Like it's 80 hours a week for ramen noodle pay, and anyway, it wasn't for me. So I did what any like 20 something would do. I quit my job without one, and I drained what little money I had out of my savings account, and I bought a bunch of recording equipment, and I set up a studio on my Dell computer in my 1-bedroom apartment in Indianapolis, and embarked on what ended up being like 8-9 years of I would say semi-professional hip hop music, because I worked odd jobs on the
Hold on,
side to
we got to go back, Brad, because you don't
yeah,
just
yeah.
jump from leaving a job to being a rapper. Like, were you a writer before? Like, did you have an interest in music? Like, is this just
So
something like an epiphany that happened?
so here's the deal. Like I loved writing, but like I had no real music ability, meaning like how to write songs, how to put these ideas down and like make them. I had no idea. but I love hip hop music, man. I love it. It's in my blood. It's in my bones. Like it fuels me. It's a foundation piece of my life. And, I'm very like, or younger Brad was very defiant and against the grain and underdog and all of that. So I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew I wanted to try to make music, man. And it was bad when I started. Like, it was bad, dude. It was bad.
Usually how the first time.
But you know what though? I knew I wasn't one of these folks going on American Idol. Like, I can sing really well. And then it's like, bruh, I knew it was bad, but like, I didn't care because I knew it was going to get better. Like, and I worked at it and ended up releasing 4 albums. I toured. I did shows with Wiz Khalifa and Logic and Cypress Hill and Keith Murray. And like, dude, it's nuts. I got on the radio. Crazy, just crazy. All from like YOLO,
That is insane.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Now
took a leap. So like, because I don't want our listeners to be able to miss that. Like, you took a leap and you didn't like this job, this environment, this condition, this system that you were in. You had this desire and love for writing, and you had this deep desire for music. You took this leap and you went all in on yourself. That going in all in on yourself initially was like, this isn't as good as it needs to be or as it could be. But you loved it and you believed in it so much that you kept putting those hours in, you kept putting the work in, you kept getting better and better. And then over time, you're on stages with some of the biggest names in the industry.
Yeah, it's crazy. I looking back on it, so like, everybody's like, what did you learn from it and all that? I learned I'm older now, and there's no way I could play like Tuesday night shows until 1 a.m. I know that. But looking back, like, I never like had serious doubt. Here's the deal. Like, I think there's a difference between setting goals and then just having like an infinite why within you, right? Like, so we have goals, right? I think goals are great. Like, I want to, move up at this company. I want to achieve this. There's a goal of mine. That's awesome. But like, when you have an infinite why, meaning like, this is part of me. This is who I am. I'm going to pursue it. And I start to detach from outcomes I don't control, like how others react or, who's going to listen to this song? Like, is it going to be perceived the same way? And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't hurt when it doesn't go over well, but like, I didn't concern myself with any of that. Like, I was just like fueled by a passion that happened.
So I love that.
And as I, older now, raising a family and all of that, I'm like, that purpose in me is there in totally different ways, but I can see it. I can notice it. And I think that when you're aligned like that, people talk about getting in flow state, right? Or whatever. And I'm sure, dude, like, I'm sure, Kyle, you're feeling that. Like, you were just talking about how you're speaking around and like meeting with these students and changing lives like that. I imagine, while it's very, very hard work, I imagine it brings you a lot of energy and doesn't suck. You know what I mean?
Definitely does.
So that's a different, and now once you have that, at least for me, like, once you have that and that's possible, you don't settle for something else. Like, you refuse because you know what's possible.
Yeah. So I really hope that our listeners didn't miss that. This idea of operating in flow, choosing passion, choosing joy, betting on yourself, taking a leap, because I find that a lot of people sit in complacency and they sit in these seasons over and over, season after season, where they're unhappy and they know that there's more in the tank. They know that there's more to life, but they continue to stay stagnant on where they are. But for you built something initially. Now we're building this musical career. Walk me through kind of that gap, that period of time from musician on stages with big names to the work that you're now doing as a nonprofit leader.
Yeah. So when you describe those that are maybe living in a little fear, hesitancy, sticking with what's comfortable, I can still resonate with that because I've had seasons in my life where that was the case and even worse. And, I started having, I got married. I had my first redheaded boy, because that's all I can make is redheaded boys.
That's it.
And I was like, well, okay, the Indiana hip hop money's probably not going to raise a family, you know? And it was, I was doing it all full time. Right. Like and there was no space for anything else. So like priorities shifted and things changed. But, through all of that, a big part of my journey and where I'm at now is, so I developed very debilitating anxiety, big time. Like where the thought of doing a load of laundry would put me in the fetal position type of panic. And not necessarily knowing where it spawned from. I think my life was a little out of balance with, probably with a marriage I didn't necessarily want to be in anymore, a job I didn't really like, but I was doing it because I needed to make money, and like all of that pizzazz and everything we just talked about was I was out of line with myself. And I found out quickly that if I wanted my anxiety to go away, all I needed to do was drink alcohol. I found that fast. And I remember when I realized that, and I was like, this is amazing. I can turn it off. I can be whoever I want to be when I drink alcohol. I can, and I'm sure so many people know where this is going. That did not last very long. And I found out that I'm an alcoholic, and that's a huge part of my story and my journey. It's one of self-discovery. I didn't know about living with addiction or what that meant or anything like that. I knew I needed to get control of it. And I'm an open book about all these things, but I will say that's been a part of my journey, getting help, relinquishing, surrendering, because I'm stubborn as hell, man. Like the redheaded cliche is a cliche for a reason, right? We got fiery tempers and we're super stubborn. So I'm like, I'm a man. I can fix this. I fix everything else in my life. Why can't I fix this? Why can't I stop drinking when I want to stop drinking? And I couldn't figure that out, man. For the longest time, my journey's not linear. And I finally got help. And from a professional standpoint, I was like, I need to find my why. And I know I love sales. I know I love communicating with people. But if you told me tomorrow, Kyle, that like, hey, Brad, you need to go make a living selling office supplies, like I would be homeless. Because it's not because I can't sell. It's because I have to believe in something. It has to be bigger than me. Like I truly do. And anyway, in Indianapolis, we have a really cool, like small, our version of Silicon Valley. Like it's a mini Silicon Valley. There's tech everywhere. And I found this world of nonprofit technology.
Okay.
And I remember walking in, I started with a company called One Cause that does, incredible company that does like auctions and galas, golf outings, all that stuff from a mobile standpoint. And I was like, I can make money doing this. These people are amazing. Like these are like-minded people that like have fun and believe in something bigger than themselves. And yeah, we're here to make money, but like we're serving people. And it was amazing. So I've bounced around a little bit, but over the last 8 or 9 years, I've been in different nonprofit tech roles because, and I'm never going back. I mean, I'll never say never, but like from a sales standpoint, those conversations and playing my small part of supporting nonprofit leaders with different things. And I could go on and I'll shut up, but like it is, these conversations are so filled with emotion and passion.
Yeah.
That like, I got friends that like sell like compliance stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'd be sleeping. Like I can't. So anyway, that's the gap. And I'm happy to get into whatever, but that's kind of the Cliff Notes version of the past 10 years of Brad.
You know, Brad, I really appreciate your openness, your authenticity, your vulnerability. And your story is an intersection between like this idea of recovery, this idea of having to reinvent yourself and fatherhood, and professional growth. And one of the things that I recognized in your growth journey is that there were things that had to be killed and had to be, decomposed of before you could really be able to build the life that brings you so much energy and joy today. Of all of these experiences, right? Like, how have those experiences shaped the way that you lead and show up for people today?
I finally realized it took darn near 40 years. Like, I finally realized my life was not about me.
Mm,
Um, and I say that again, like, I just want to, like, if folks are listening, and I want to be clear on something, this does not mean I don't work my butt off. This does not mean I don't try to accomplish things. This does not mean that, like, we don't, like I said, we don't set goals. We're not like trying to be the best versions of ourselves. What it means is, like, I now view life around what value can I bring? How can I serve other people?
let's go.
How can I be fully present? Presence to me is the key to life, like, full stop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of simplifying things. And I think being present is where everything comes together. And that's, for me, that's not a switch to get flipped, because my mind wants to either feel guilty or regret the past or be anxious about the future.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing those things, I can't be open to what's happening in front of me. And it took the gift of desperation for me to really figure that out. And now that I've seen, it's just like what we were talking about from doing things that bring you energy. Like, once I see it, I can't unsee it. Right. Um, I used to think that, internalizing my feelings, trying not to be a burden to other people, as a man, shouldering any type of
Mhm.
discomfort, and not like, I used to think making myself small was like this act of humility, and like I'm helping, like, take this emotional baggage off your plate, whoever you are, like, and I'm going to internalize it. But what I realized is that my entire life was driven off of self-centered fear. Like, what will you think of me? Will I get what I want? Will you take what I have? Will you figure out who I really am?
Let's go.
Me. And then wondering why I had so much frustration all the time. It's like, I'll put it like, you ever driving to work or wherever, driving home from Maryland, and somebody cuts you off in traffic, and, like, you swear that person woke up this morning to piss you off. You know what I mean? Like, why
Yeah.
would this happen to me?
Yeah.
Why would those type of people, like, why did this happen to me? How?
It's usually the other way around for me, Brad. I'm probably the person that cut people off, and they're like beeping, just like crazy people behind me, and just like laying their hands and their heads on the horn, and then it just drives me insane, like insane.
And you're like, I didn't, like, I'm
didn't
not
mean
that
to.
important, right? I'm not that important for someone to wake up and say, I'm going to ruin Brad's day,
My
And that's
gosh.
a little thing, but, like, I do not, we have to let go of what we don't control.
Mm,
And the biggest thing none of us control is other people.
yeah.
Like, I don't control other people, like, at all. And this whole journey for me, it sounds so elementary, but, like, actually living this way is, I mean, I'm talking 2.5 years out of 40 something. Like, it's still new to me.
Let
Like,
me ask you this. That requires something different, though, right? Like, I think, like, I love how you said it's the last, like, 2.5 years of the 40 years. Like, what did you have to let go of, personally or professionally, to become this version of yourself that you are today? Because I think development, growth is not it's not addition, it's subtraction. It's not multiplication, it's division. It's something that we have to let go of, we have to remove, we have to divide, we have to shift in order for us to really be able to become the people that we are today. So what are the things that you had to let go of so that you could really become the person that you are today?
I love this. You're an absolute nail on the head. First and foremost, and this is the big barrier, I had to decide and learn how to be honest with myself.
Mm,
Okay.
it's a big
There
one.
are, I work with, I like and enjoy being a resource to anyone who is struggling with addiction and in recovery, right? Not that I have any answers
Yeah.
or like I can share my experience, but like I want to help any way that I can. And the biggest thing that I see is um, people struggle to be honest with themselves. And what I mean by that is just what are the truths? What are the things going on behind closed doors when no one is watching? Like what corners are you, and I'm speaking from experience, what corners are you cutting in life?
Mm.
Right? What um people I struggled so long. I shouldn't say people. I struggled so long with self-confidence. And I realized like all self-confidence is holding myself accountable. If
That's
I
it.
do the thing, like that's all it is.
Hey, it's Kyle. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but I got a quick culture check for you. How's your team's energy right now? I mean, literally, right now. Are people feeling inspired? Or are they just showing up? See, here's the truth. Culture doesn't change because we talk about it. It changes because we live it actively every single day. And that's what I help organizations do. Build contagious cultures that people actually want to be a part of. Through keynote talks, interactive trainings, and hands-on consulting, I help leaders transform the way their teams connect, perform, and grow. So if your culture needs a little bit of spark, let's light it up together. Visit theculturelab.org, again, theculturelab.org, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn at Kyle S. King to learn more about how we can work together. Because remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching. Now let's get back to the program.
That's all it is. Like I was so worried about what other people thought of me or, all of that. Like, how am I going to get confidence? And I tried to get it from outside validation from others. And then even if you get it, it doesn't feel good because it's not real. So like, I finally learned that like holding myself accountable to my values, what I know I need to do, like, even if it's something silly, like doing this checklist of things today, like I need to do these things. Like I feel good afterwards. I don't remember ever working hard at something and wish I wouldn't have. Okay. Like ever. So what did I have to let go of? Once I got honest with myself, I start to figure out patterns. Like, what am I holding on to? And for me, it's like, not to like get on the therapist couch, right? But are there resentments I'm carrying around? Right.
Yeah.
Some of them are very deep rooted. Against people, against things, against circumstances, right? I'm carrying those around. Could be a previous relationship, could be a family member, could be, whatever, whatever. And here's the deal too, is a lot of things that I hang on to. I'm going to keep saying because I don't want to speak for anybody else, that I hang on to. I legitimately did not do anything wrong. Something happened to me, right? Something happened. Someone did something, a situation came up that affected me negatively, that I did not do anything to provoke, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm hanging on to that as in this isn't fair, or I'm using it as an excuse, right? I'm in a marriage I don't want to be in, but I can't leave because of my kids. I'm in a job I don't like, but I'm doing it because I need money to support this family. And that's the noble thing to do. So instead of like unpacking that or dealing with those emotions head on, I'm just going to drink. Like I'm going to run from it. I'm going to suppress it. I'm going to push it away. Right. So I don't know if like all that like answers like, what did you let go of? And for me, so I'll say this. Here's my favorite description. Okay. Like I am so grateful to be an alcoholic. I'm so grateful. And here's why. Because I have two choices. Okay. I can either be the absolute best version of myself that I can be, right? I can lean into my life. I can engage with it. I can practice these things every single day. or I can lose everything.
Mm.
That's it, because my disease will take over and I will lose sight of it so fast because I've seen it happen. I've done it, but I've learned now. So now it's on me, right?
Yeah.
And I say I'm grateful because I swear, like, I'm just owning it. Like, without this, without the gift of desperation, without being here today and seeing these things, I would have lived the most mediocre existence. I wouldn't have really connected with people.
So
I
good.
wouldn't have I wouldn't have found out why we're here, like human connection. I wouldn't have found it because I wouldn't have known me. And I would have just gone through life like this: some highs, some lows, some friends, some memories. There would have been, 50 people at my funeral, and they would have said how, my laugh was. And like, I'm so grateful for that because I need that. I need that so bad. So I said all that to say, like, this, like, what did I have to let go of? I let go of this stuff every freaking day. Like, I do this work every day. And that's what keeps me growing, is constantly, I need to be reminded. I need to do what I need to do every single day to make sure I'm left to my own devices. I am selfish. I'm out for, like, I got, go and get yours. I got to get mine, like that's the way it would be.
I just love this perspective because, I was, as you know, I was speaking to the University of Maryland students. This was yesterday at this point. And one of the things that I was talking to students about, when you're just in this season of development, there's an unbecoming that has to happen, that has to take place on your pursuit, as Carl Jung describes it, on your pursuit towards wholeness. And if you're showing up, on point in one way, but you're a liar in another way, or if you're showing up in this way and then you're not integral in another way, that there's still some work that has to be done. So I appreciate how you recognize the work that needed to be done. You committed to the process of building, and then you've seen this result of reinventing yourself. For the leader listening in, who is in their rebuilding season, they're working towards rebuilding and reinventing themselves, whether professionally or personally, what would you say to them?
Oh my gosh. This like the journey is, we're here for the journey. Like, we're here for the now. I don't know. So I'm going to think about this as I say it. Like, I think we get so overwhelmed or so stuck on the end goal that we lose sight of what's going on right now. And it's easier said than done. Hard seasons are, and I've only learned this from going through dark stuff, man. Like, that's it. I don't know how else you get there. I don't know. Like, and there's always a purpose. There's always something to be learned. There's always value to be added. I would just stress, like, if there's a leader that's in the rebuilding phase or whatever, and they're, we tear down to build back up. If you're aligned with your why, like your passions, and doing what you feel you're meant to be doing, just live in that moment. And as difficult as it is to do, try to detach from outcomes you don't control. And plus, I would make sure you have, so for me, here's something I would say would be important, and hopefully people are doing, like, go have a community of other people doing the same stuff that you are. Like, have sounding boards, go share the highs, the lows, the super tough days with other leaders that are also rebuilding at the same time, because otherwise it can be an echo. You could, like, have an echo chamber of just yourself bouncing off the walls. Or, I'm not saying we don't share things with our partners or our friends or our family. Like, that's all great, right? We need to share what's going on. But there's something about being able to share experiences with someone else that can absolutely understand what you're going through.
Agree.
I know I need that all the time, and I don't know what I would do without it. My wife appreciates that I do. So I would say that too. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's where my mind goes.
I feel like community, Brad, is so important, and I recognize in even my own dark seasons that I may not have all the answers in those seasons. I may not have even had all the steps or the understanding on what's next, but just having community to lean on or to talk to or to hold you accountable or that sees your worth in the midst of you even questioning your worth is so powerful. And I was also sharing that with students about how important you sharing your story is, and that companies and mentors and sponsors and advocates, they could care less about your resume. They want to know the things that you've been through and how you persevered or how you were resilient or how you bounced back or how you face conflict and how you overcome. Like, they want to know those things, because you can teach a kid how to code and how to project manage and all of these other things, but you can't teach those intangible things, that those character traits, those behaviors, those habits, when your back is against the wall and you're forced to be able to build something out of nothing. And when you just only really see the light in your mind. So I really, really resonate with your story. And I believe it's so important as we transition into donor relationships and
Yeah.
not leading with impact reports all the time, not leading with all of these things and these metrics, but leading with heart and just leading with these stories that connect people to people. How have you used this level of authenticity and just this ability to tell stories to be able to better connect with donors? And what would be the advice that you would give to people listening at?
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate that very much. So my journey's been interesting from the nonprofit like tech side of things. I worked with on the fundraising side of the house for so long, right? 8 or 9 years doing working with different organizations from a tech perspective on raising more dollars, getting more donors, getting more in the door, net new, all of that, and all of that is important. But since joining FundMiner a couple of months ago, I've really been like kind of in shock in a way on this side of the house when it comes to donor relations, right? And stewarding those that have already given, that have shown interest, that have shown they're willing to connect and be a part of our organization. Like my initial reaction to all of this in this world is like, we have such a gap between the resources we're putting into trying to acquire net new donors to nurturing the ones we already have. As a business owner, if I was running a for-profit company and my renewal rate on customers from year one to year two was around 20%, 20% of people renewed from year one to year two, I'd go out of business tomorrow.
100%.
My doors would close. It would cease to exist.
100%.
But for some reason in the nonprofit world, we just accept that first-time donors give a second time about 20% of the time.
Exactly.
And we just we put all of these resources into getting new people to come in. And again, that's fine. But what are we doing to steward? And there's this, and I'll probably rant and get on my soapbox. You can wave at me or something, but there's this misnomer in nonprofit world. And every leader I talk to agrees. I'm like, what are we doing? Everybody agrees. But from a donor relation standpoint, they're not seen as revenue generating, right? We're not acquiring new. We're not net new. We have these numbers. We're looking at, boards are looking at spreadsheets and accounting lines and saying, okay, we don't need to pour resources into the revenue we already have in the door. How are we going to bring these numbers up? And we just fail to see that nurturing and retention and making sure people don't leave and give more next year because they felt appreciated.
Exactly.
We just let that go. So I'm still really leaning into learning in this space from the folks that have been doing this work for so long.
Yeah.
And I want to be conscious of deferring to their experiences, but also kind of poking the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
Why are we not advocating for ourselves?
I think
who's speaking up?
It's a real problem, Brad, to be honest. And I think my mom, she's been in a customer experience executive for decades. And I'm starting to really, really see it more and more as I continue to build on my side, the importance of not acquiring more customers, but retaining and nurturing and creating an experience for your customers where, one, from a business standpoint, we can increase the lifetime value of this customer. But then also, what are we contributing? What is the return on value from us giving to them so that we can be able to ensure that we retain these individuals? And just any nonprofit leader listening, it's actually less expensive nurturing your people that you already have rather than acquiring new clients and acquiring new donors and acquiring new people. Like, rather than spending all of these ad spend or curating this event that you don't really have any information about the attendees that are going, why not curate immersive experiences for the things that you know about the people that are already in your database and allow them to be your champions, allow them to be the people that are in the community talking about and sharing the good news about what you do as an organization. So I love what you're saying, Brad. It gets me excited every time. But you all have a tool that can do this. Can you talk to me a little bit about this tool and why it's so important?
Absolutely. So, and I will just say, so I did a post about this on LinkedIn this morning, and because the cost to retain a first-year donor is 20 cents per dollar. This is from the Nonprofit Learning Lab survey. 20 cents per dollar. The cost to acquire a new one is $1.50 per dollar. Okay, so more expensive. I use the analogy in my post today, like you go to a gas station and there's the same gas at two different pumps. One's 50 cents per gallon and one's $4 per gallon. And we continue to line up at the $4 per gallon tank.
That's actually a great analogy.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, that's what we're doing. It's wild to me. So I will speak in high level terms because I've been at FundMiner 2 months, but it's absolutely amazing. So too often, right? Like the information needed for fund stewardship, donor stewardship, it lives in different places. Okay. Mm-hmm. Teams are pulling from spreadsheets. They're pulling from finance systems. They're pulling from CRMs. They're pulling from email threads just to answer basic questions or build donor impact reporting, right? FundMiner helps centralize that so the work is less manual and less fragmented. We sit on top of all of those systems and bring it all into one place so it's visible for everyone at all times. We also do this piece when it comes to reporting and donor stewardship, right? So if Kyle decides he wants to give to the polar bear exhibit at the Indianapolis Zoo, I'm not going to send him an annual report with everything we did on the peacocks this year, right? And the tigers and all that. That's all great. And well, you should see these things, man. You've probably gotten one if you've donated. Like,
oh, no, I have.
They're 50 pages long. They come once a year. They take these organizations 6 to 9 months to put together, right? Mm. And I'm digging through. Okay, hey, I love polar bears. Like, where's the stuff about the polar bears, right? Well, we don't track that information. We don't have it. Or if we do, it's living in notes. It's living in spreadsheets. So how about you automatically get not only just annually, but whatever cadence we want, a personalized impact story from the polar bears based on the gift that you gave and how it impacted the zoo specifically, right? Sure. So emotional connection is all. Now, every nonprofit professional will tell you that would be great. We don't have the time. Like, and donor relations doesn't have the resources to do it, right? I continue to I work a lot with nonprofits and community foundations, and they will have, especially in the nonprofit side, they'll have 5 to 10 people working in fundraising, going out and making asks to major donors net new, and one person doing donor relations. Right. So to use your business example, I got 10 AEs and 1 customer success manager, and we're supposed to give them personalized experience. Right. Basically. How the heck are we supposed to do that? So we're on a mission to really streamline and give insights and to lift up the donor relations side of the house.
For somebody that is new to the nonprofit space, that doesn't understand the importance of that relationship with your donor outside of just the financial perspective. Can you talk more about, like, why is even having a relationship with the donor important rather than them just continuing to just give to the organization?
Yep. Well, as we talked about, people will not continue to give if we stop communicating with them, if we treat them like a transaction, right? Philanthropic people, they'll give. People will give. We got to earn it. And donor intent and donor trust are so important, right? I think it's 8 out of 10. I want to say 8 out of 10. It might be 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10. First time donors want to know what their gift did specifically before they will give again, right? I have to trust you. Like, I have to know how you're using my money. And people don't, I don't want to burst any bubbles out there, but like, people don't give to a nonprofit organization because they want to support your mission. Okay. They give to your organization because they see themselves in your story.
That's good.
You align with their why. Okay. Now, in order for me to understand what that why is, I got to be genuinely curious. I got to ask questions. I got to develop a relationship. Right. A former colleague of mine, his name's Eric Franz. He's incredible, 30 plus years in development and donor relations and all that. He tells me a story, and I'll paraphrase because I'll butcher it, but he was working for a large nonprofit organization, and at a university. Okay. And they had this, person on their major gift stewardship list, right, that had graduated from the university, from the engineering program, and had gone on to do all these things in the engineering world, right? So their formula said to continue to send, call him Joe, like information about the engineering program and how scholarships would be beneficial for engineering students and engineering. And Eric came in and he's like, why isn't this guy ever responded? He was an alum, like he's active in the community. I'm going to have a meeting with him. I'm going to actually go and meet with him. And he actually went to his house. Okay. And he meets with this guy, and the guy welcomes him to his home, and he opens up the door and starts to walk into his home, and he sees 4 or 5 incredible and expensive and rare pieces of artwork on his wall. Okay. So hang on for a second. Engineering, tactical, detailed, right? Art, emotional, creative, right? So he asked them about him. Come to find out, the guy always wanted to be an artist. He always wanted to be involved in art and in the community, and he volunteers at different art organizations. He was an engineering student, got into engineering because his parents demanded he get an engineering degree.
Wow.
But what he really cared about was art.
It's art.
So, Eric, thank you. Here's what we're doing with the art program. The guy ends up giving hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Wow.
But we don't get that without. So, like, I tell you that, like, I'm serious. We are doing that by, we are stewarding people by like line items on a spreadsheet. Okay. Like, yes, there are higher ed universities that are stewarding by what your degree was in. Dude, I got a sports marketing and management degree. Now I love sports, but like, how many of us are using the degree we got from school? Okay. It's broken. So you asked me, like, why are relationships important? That's why.
That's so good. Brad, this has been such an exciting conversation. And there's so many layers of this conversation that I'd love for our listeners to just really understand. One, that there's a reinventing that has to happen as we become the leaders that are driving change within our companies, communities, and with the organizations that we work within. There's a connectivity that is necessary with our donors in order for us to first establish those relationships, build upon those connections, and then an experience that has to happen once we do have these donors to steward them well so that they can come back and we retain them rather than the expensive cost of acquiring new donors. But not just that, understanding and being curious and asking the donors their ideas, their philosophies, their background, and their interests, so that we can really identify the duality and the mutual benefit of why their donor, donorship, or what they're going to contribute, whether they're time, talent, or treasure, and how it's going to benefit, yes, the institution, but then also how are we going to be able to meet some of their goals, and how are we going to be able to drive change together? Brad, when I think about this conversation, there's so many layers. As somebody's leading in this work, as somebody's wanting to continue to grow and build and create change, in 60 seconds, what would you want them to take from your story, from your life, that they can continue to take with them on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. And I agree. This has been amazing. I really appreciate it. I think, I don't think we fully realize what we're capable of, first and foremost. And that comes from being open to possibility. That comes from connecting with others as our true self. You mentioned our story, like using our story. Our stories, everybody's got a unique story. That's your superpower. Your story is your superpower. Lean into it. Lean into what makes you different, what makes you weird even. Like, that is where like discovery happens, and where like magic can really take place if we truly connect with other people.
Brad, where can people find you? How can we stay connected to you, my friend?
Oh my gosh. I'm on LinkedIn. That's my jam now. I'm an old man dad. That's where I hang out, is LinkedIn. So it's just Brad Tunn on LinkedIn. If you're okay with getting some, I typically rap on Fridays on there. So if you're okay having rap on your LinkedIn feed, that's on there. But yeah, please connect with me. I would absolutely love it.
I love this, Brad. This conversation was needed. Honest, real, insightful, and deep perspectives that I know will transform the listeners listening, and our listeners. One of the questions that we always ask you is, what type of culture are you spreading? Brad is spreading a culture of connectivity, of authenticity, of relationships, and building things from within. That's necessary. The energy you bring is the culture you create. Go make yours worth catching. It's another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Contagious Culture Podcast. If this episode challenged or inspired you, hey, take a second to share it with someone who's building culture in their world. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself join the movement. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or YouTube at Kyle S. King for more tips, tools, and methodologies to be able to help you create this ecosystem of absolute excellence. Until next time, lead boldly, live intentionally, and remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching.